What's up, Raptor Nation and Raptor Scope watchers? It's another game against the tough Western Conference. It's Anthony Davis and the Dallas Mavericks. It was a rough one. Again, I talked about this last game. Dallas is not a rivalry, but they are a good test. They're a pretty good team with some big players on their team. Anthony Davis, first of all. D'Angelo Russell, the Raptor killer. It doesn't seem to matter what team he's on. He just drops those on our heads. It doesn't matter who's on our team. He just comes back here. He just loves Toronto, shoot threes and score, unfortunately. And we've fallen victim to that before with LeBron and the Lakers. It's just a thing with D'Angelo Russell. You know, the little taunt ritual he does. Apparently he got ice in his veins when he comes to Toronto. Anyway, we'll also be doing a matchup, obviously, between Cooper Flagg and Scotty Barnes. They say Cooper Flagg's a point guard, but he's as much of a point guard as Scotty Barnes is. So that'll be the matchup. Quickly against Russell off the bench, who came alive. I guess his bench role isn't really a bench role when he plays that many minutes and basically does that much damage. And the third matchup will be Jakob Poeltl versus Anthony Davis, which unfortunately did not go so well. The Raptors like to think ahead sometimes, so maybe they were thinking on the first half of a back-to-back and a game after facing Giannis a night ago just to give him a bit of a rest so that he could play the next day, but it didn't seem to work out. You may or may not know that he was injured in the game against the Spurs against Victor Wembanyama, so unfortunately this has beared down on him. The backup centers are going to have some work to do. Now on to the numbers. Emmanuel quickly shot 5 for 16 shots for a shooting percentage of .313, which is pretty bad. He hit 1 3-pointer for 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 stocks, which were both steals, and an assist to turnover ratio of 5-1. I think this is why we got him. He does turn the ball over, but not that much. He's pretty efficient on a regular basis, and that's what he's shown so far this year, which is good. Not that many 3-pointers. Unfortunately, he went 1 for 7. The other night he went 0 for 7. I forget which game that was, but he's better at that than this, so we should see improvement on that. I'm sure he notices what's going on with that, and it's affecting his field goal percentage and possibly the game outcomes. We'll hope for better from Emmanuel quickly. As for D'Angelo Russell, he did his usual Raptor killing thing. 24 points on 8 of 18 shooting for a shooting percentage of .444, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, an assist to turnover ratio of 3, and an atrocious, at least for us, atrocious plus minus of +26. Somebody has to stop this, man. He scored 24 points. Did anybody answer any of these points? Doesn't seem to be the case. As I mentioned, he just tends to just catch fire when he's facing the Raptors. Good grief. Anyway, moving on to the next players. Anthony Davis versus Jakob Poeltl. Boy, oh boy, unfortunately, Jakob got Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis did his usual thing. Let's not forget, this is one of the top players in the league. A healthy Anthony Davis is pretty potent, and we should always keep that in mind. It didn't seem like we were doing that bad against him. It's just that when it came down to it, we couldn't really stop them, especially near the end of the game when it counted. So Jakob, he only hit 2 of 3 shots. He didn't shoot any 3-pointers as usual. The 2 shots equal to 4 points, 8 rebounds, 1 stock, which was a steal, an assist to turnover ratio of 4 assists, which is decent. His peripheral stats weren't bad. 8 rebounds and 4 assists are pretty good. They look better with a higher scoring total, but unfortunately he is against Anthony Davis, and they do have a number of other centers that are pretty big and good on defense as their backups, mainly Derek Lively. You can count Najee Marshall. That being said, he also had a plus minus of -15. And once again, they were facing Anthony Davis, who is a strong matchup and just a great player in general when he's healthy. So that matchup unfortunately goes to Anthony Davis. Jakob did do a solid job, except for the fact that Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis. He's gonna have a tough job facing him if he is slightly injured, which it seems like he is because he's sitting out at least 1 game due to this injury on the second half of the back-to-back. After the second half of the back-to-back against Wembanyama, the first half being against Anthony Davis. Davis shot extremely well, 11 of 14. Again, hard to stop, and showed it today. No 3-pointers though. Still had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 stocks. Good grief. He was playing defense today, guys, and that's another thing he's known for. He had 3 steals and 2 blocks. A big reason probably why Pirtle had a plus minus of -15. If Davis was on the court, play defense, scoring his points, that's going to cause the score to perhaps be lopsided depending on what else is going on the court, but his contribution is pretty significant usually. Davis's plus minus was 0, and his assist to turnover ratio was just 1-to-1, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. But based on what else he was doing on the court, I mean, he even had 3 assists. So, I mean, he was passing the ball. The turnovers don't necessarily have to come from passing the ball. It could be like an offensive foul or something like that. That being said, an awesome performance. He did better than Pirtle in this case, who may have an excuse, maybe not. He's usually better against even the better centers. Hopefully, he's on his way to recovery after the game against Wembanyama. Moving on to the next player. The last matchup we're going to do is Scotty Barnes versus Cooper Flagg. So this matchup went pretty well, despite the loss. We did lose by 10. So Scotty Barnes shot 542, 13 of 24 shots. If you're going to take 24 shots, you might as well hit half or more of them, right? So that was pretty good on his part. 3 of 5 3-pointers. Now, after the first game, we thought he wasn't taking that many 3-pointers. He didn't take any. He's hit more than 50% of his 3-pointers this season. 2 of 4 in the Milwaukee game and 3 of 5 in this game. I don't remember what he did in the Spurs game. As of the 3rd game of the season, Scotty Barnes is shooting higher than 50% from the 3-point line. And that's significant. Hopefully, he either can continue that or, he keeps those shots to a minimum unless he can keep hitting them at that rate or, something similar, some decent rate. Last season was not very good. I think with the other scorers on the team, he's going to get a lot more open 3-point shots, and hopefully he could take advantage because they have some players there that should spread the floor for him and allow him to get those open shots from the 3-point line. So he had 3 3-pointers, 33 points, 11 rebounds, 1 stock, only 1 stock, interesting. That's been his strength. It's only been 2 games. I guess this is only the 3rd game. The fact that we couldn't really stop them in the end, that sort of depicts that. We didn't really have the defense going. It wasn't strong enough to stop them at points when we really needed to stop. He had a plus minus of +5, so his 33 points, obviously the 11 rebounds, 4 of them offensive, that really helps. We can chalk it up to Anthony Davis lopsiding his matchup so much that we're 11 for 14 shooting and basically being hard to stop at the end of the game when they really needed baskets really depicted how the game went. Cooper Flagg shot 8 for 14 for a shooting percentage of .571. He hit 2 3-pointers, 22 points, 4 rebounds, only 1 stock, and his assist to turnover ratio was, he had no turnovers, so it's 4 to infinity? I don't know. I gotta check AI on that one. I'm not sure. He also had a plus minus of 5. He seems to have done fairly well going up against a player quite like himself, point forward. He looked good to me. I know a lot of players are overhyped when they first come into the league. We lost to the Mavericks by 10. The score of 129 to 139. We just need to get more cohesive on defense at the end of the game. We didn't have a problem scoring, especially Scotty Barnes this game. He did his job almost perfectly. Maybe some other players need to step up. Maybe the cohesion needs to be a bit better. Since the first game, Scotty Barnes hasn't had such a good assist to turnover ratio. It's 1.2 this game. So, we really want to work on that. The decision making, we want to be sharp. Scotty Barnes has a lot of talent, and honing it, really caring about the little things, I think is really gonna push him over the top and make him into an unstoppable force. But that being said, this was kind of a stinker. It's just a game that could have been won, just like the Bucks game. But we'll be all right. Fortunately, we faced the Wemby machine and got beaten by them, so we are on a losing streak, 3-game losing streak. It sucks, but we did have some tough competition. There is an excuse. I'm pretty happy with the results in terms of everything except for the L's. But that's fine. They need to get better. They need to gain some chemistry. That's one thing we used to take for granted in the DeRozan Lowry days. Even when Kawhi got here, Kawhi was a pretty similar player to DeRozan, so kind of slotted in perfectly. That chemistry, you can't buy it. You have to earn it. You have to play through, and the players, hopefully their personalities are the types that realize that and play towards their strengths They have a lot of talent on this team, and using it well and properly can go a long way. Anyways, Raptor fans, that's it for this episode. This is a top 3 matchup episode, and this is what I'll be doing from now on. Just trying to scale down the workload a little bit so I can do other types of content. And so we're down 1 win, 3 losses, not including the next game, the Spurs game against Victor Wembanyama. All right, Raptor fans, peace out.